totally economical, but I'm not going to discuss those boring economics to you. Think about, today is December, let's say today is December 1st, 2020. And you have $1 billion in your pocket. $1 billion in your pocket. If you keep this money in your pocket, in 2021 December, it won't be $1 billion. It will be something else. So why? Because of the devaluation of US dollar. Although US dollar is a very safe currency, but still there's a risk of devaluation. And now think about not just a billion, when you have trillions. This is China's reserve. Anyway, can you help me? So this is what happens when you have trillions of dollars in your pocket. Not even billions. When you have trillions of dollars, then there's even it's a bigger risk. Is not it? So what you should do? What you should do? You should find a way to eliminate this risk. How? Shuffle it. But shuffling is risky. You cannot mitigate this risk and then you fall down. Is not it? So you need to find a safe way. The safest way is to invest in infrastructure. When you invest in infrastructure, you're helping your friends. You're focusing on those Confucian ideology, living harmoniously. In the same time, you're making new friends. To escape what happened with Mikhail Gorbachev in 1990s. You are finding a market of your surplus production. Is not it? Your surplus of steel. You're finding a market for it. And then, finally, you are lifting people out of the poverty line, which is a good thing. When you lift people out of poverty line, you are helping in one way, and in the other way, you are creating a market for your products. There's no country in the world where you can find those things made in China. Wherever you go, you find this, at least there is something which is made in China. So is not it the safest answer of this question? And then last part, I have already discussed it, that the growing demand, but only I want to focus, again, could you please help me? So again, when we see this requirement of infrastructure, there are some restrictions. There are some restrictions. For example, when you ask loan from World Bank or IMF, sometimes they refuse you. They refuse to give you loan. Why? The reason is very clear. They say you're too poor. In fact, because I am poor, that is why I'm asking your money. If I'm rich, what shall I do with your money? So there are some criteria like highly in-debt poor countries. It's a list of IMF where they have listed some countries as HIPC countries, not to give them money. In fact, they need money. So where shall they go? They are the one who is in need of your support, and you're not thinking about supporting them. And when you support them, you put a lot of conditions. You need to meet this, you need to meet that, blah, 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 which makes things complicated. So now, think about a solution. under this 8 hypotheses, is not the Belt and Road Initiative is the best solution? Or do you have other solutions? If integrated properly, Belt and Road is the best solution to mitigate those hypotheses, those challenges. And now, let's come to the second part of our discussion. Because the part that we have already discussed is the mostly macroeconomical part, where we think about those in larger aspect, from the country aspect, or from the regional aspect. Now, let's come to you. You as a student, as a foreign student in China right now, you graduate, and then you have 4 or 5 options. The first option, well, let not say the first option. These options included like staying in China, doing something of your own, starting your own business in China, then finding a job in China, or returning to your country in China, returning to your country, or returning to your country and start a business of your own in your country. Just like, let's consider these 4 hypotheses. It is easy for me to describe if we have these 4. There are plenty of other options, and different options. Some of you will be the minister, because I have a classmate, he is from Ethiopia, and now he became a minister. So, and actually for him, he was the one who has always been inviting me, come. So I visit. He was my classmate, my neighbor, and because I also was a student like you, and we used to do a lot of other things, blah, 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 blah. So he's quite close to me, and now he's the minister. So maybe some of you are going to be the minister as well, like him. So that is different. So let us put it in one side. So these 4 conditions, and among these 4 conditions, if we choose the first one, that you decide to stay in China and find a job, that I was telling you that you need to present yourself, you need to fix yourself so that you could be a very strong candidate. And this one, I think more or less, you have some ideas. And then option number 2, by using the Chinese government's policy on the shared future of mankind, how you can use Chinese government's policy to do something of your own in China. Here, you are lucky enough that you are in Hunan. Because I was not in Hunan. When I was a student, I was not in Hunan. I was in Wuhan. Hunan has a pilot tax-free zone. How many of you know about it? None of you? Since this year, since the September of this year, Hunan has a pilot tax-free zone, where if you bring something from your country and if you sell it, you don't need to pay tax. In China, total they have 21 tax-free zones, and Hunan is included from September 2020. Hunan has a pilot tax-free zone. And these tax-free zones create opportunities. How? For example, you remember that I was telling you about the moisturizing cream, right? When I came, there was no moisturizing creams, or very few. But now, I was even surprised to see some of my colleagues, they're using this cocoa butter. Is there anyone from Ghana? So this cocoa butter is coming from Ghana. And I was surprised that, how you get it? Have you been to Ghana recently? And then she said that no. So where do you buy it? She said that Taobao 里面就有啊。So she got it from Taobao. And these things always attract me. I was requesting her to show me the Taobao link. And then I find through the link that a company from Zhejiang province is marketing it. Marketing, not manufacturing. And then I was noticed that a guy who is from Ghana, and he was in Tianjin before, a student like you and me. After finishing his study, he was the one who was bringing those butters from Ghana, and he was selling this to the Zhejiang company, who is actually bottling it in a fancy pot, which looks really good. But the ingredients is from Ghana. And at the beginning, they had some difficulties because people are not familiar. I've been to Africa many times. I've been to Mozambique 8 times. I've been to Mozambique. So I know that there are many good things in Africa. And I know that there are many things that they have a strong market in China. And this is something, a good example. And that company is now planning to be an IPO. Like they want to be listed in the stock exchange. And that guy, the Ghanaian guy, is a shareholder. So this could be an opportunity for you. Do you guys know that in China, they like to eat cassava? Cassava. So if you bring cassavas, a cassava powder, or just peanut, or just soybeans. Soybeans are staple food in China. And due to the economic tension between China and some countries, those agricultural products are now under challenge. This is a great opportunity for you. You have a tax-free zone. You have the macroeconomic environment, which is a great fit for you. Even there are some African countries who have direct flight with Changsha. When you have direct flight, you have these resources, and you have this tax-free zone. It's not really easy for you to plan your future. Well, you still say that, no, Dr. Galb, doing business is always very risky. I'm not a risk type guy. I don't want to take this risk. Well, in that case, you can work with the Chinese companies, either here or when I was giving you an example that you can go back to your country and work with them. And then option number 4, when I say that they have overproduction, they have overproduction of many things, not only steel. Steel is a product which we call intermediate product. But there are some end product of steel, right? This is broken mobile. I don't want to change it. I'm using it. But mostly, what we do, we change mobiles very often. But still, every year, there are many unsold mobile in China, is not it? So where do they go? They just crush it and reuse it. But instead, crushing it, if you find a market for those inventories in your country, think about automobiles. I don't know if there is anyone who is automobile engineer. None of you? Okay. The automobile companies in China are also enjoying mass production. They have huge unsold vehicles. Mostly in the developing countries, we buy second-hand cars from Japan, right? But these things are new. You just need to create your platform on it. Okay? I still want to give you some time because I believe that you have questions. And this topic is quite big. And 1.5 hours is really not enough to give vivid explanation. And I'm grateful to you, all of you, that you have been listening very carefully, because when you listen carefully, it is actually a motivation to me. I feel motivated. And actually, this is a respect to me as well. So thank you very much for your kind respect. And now, from now, you are requested to ask me related questions. Okay? I'll try my best to satisfy you. Yes, please.